The wind cut through Emma's worn coat like a knife as she stood at the corner of 5th and Madison, watching the Christmas lights blur through her tears. In her trembling hand, she clutched a crumpled $10 bill, the last money she had in the world. Her daughter's fever had spiked again that morning, and the eviction notice taped to their apartment door gave them 3 days. 3 days until they'd be on the streets in the dead of winter. 3 days until she'd have failed her child completely. She'd already sold everything, her wedding ring, her grandmother's necklace, even her winter boots. Now she stood in shoes 2 sizes too small, watching other families rush past with shopping bags full of gifts, and wondered how her life had fallen apart so completely. But then she saw him, a young boy, maybe 8 years old, shivering at the bus stop in nothing but a thin t-shirt and jeans, his lips turning blue in the December cold. Emma knew she shouldn't. She knew that $10 was supposed to buy medicine for Sophie, supposed to at least give them one more day of hope. But looking at that child, she saw her own daughter's face, and something deeper than logic moved through her. Her feet carried her forward before her mind could protest, and within moments, she was draping her coat around the boy's shoulders and pressing the bill into his frozen fingers. "For the bus," she whispered. "Get somewhere warm." The boy's eyes widened, filling with tears. "But miss, you're shaking." "I'll be fine," Emma lied, wrapping her arms around herself as the cold immediately seized her bones. "Just promise me you'll get home safe." She watched him board the next bus, her coat disappearing into the crowd, and felt the weight of her decision settle over her like the falling snow. Sophie was waiting. Sophie needed that medicine. What had she done? Emma turned to begin the long walk back to their apartment, each step a reminder of her empty pockets and emptier prospects. When she heard the sound of an engine purring behind her, she glanced back, expecting another bus, but instead, a sleek black limousine rolled to a stop beside her. The window descended smoothly, revealing a woman in her 60s with silver hair and kind eyes that seemed to see straight through Emma's carefully constructed walls. "Excuse me," the woman said gently. "I saw what you just did." Emma's face flushed with embarrassment. "I'm not looking for anything, ma'am. I know you're not." The woman smiled. "That's exactly why I stopped. My name is Margaret Chen. Would you please get in?" "Just for a moment." "I promise you're not in any trouble." Every instinct told Emma to walk away, but something in Margaret's voice held an authority that was both warm and impossible to refuse. Shivering violently now, Emma climbed into the limousine's heated interior, nearly crying at the warmth that enveloped her. Margaret wrapped a cashmere blanket around Emma's shoulders. "Tell me your story. Why would someone give away their last $10 on Christmas Eve?" At first, Emma resisted. She'd learned that sharing her struggles usually brought pity or judgment, neither of which paid bills. But Margaret's patient silence and genuine concern slowly unwound the tight coil of Emma's defenses. The words began to flow about Sophie's illness, about losing her job when her daughter's medical needs meant too many missed days, about the eviction, about the impossible choice between pride and survival. She talked about her late husband, killed in a construction accident 2 years ago, and how she'd been fighting ever since to give Sophie the life he would have wanted for her. "That boy looked so cold," Emma finished, tears streaming down her face. "I just couldn't walk past him. I know it was stupid. I know Sophie needed that money more, but you couldn't ignore someone else's suffering, even when you were drowning yourself?" Margaret's eyes glistened. "That's not stupid, Emma. That's extraordinary." She pulled out her phone and made a quick call. "James, I need you to go to the pharmacy at 5th and Broadway. Pick up whatever antibiotic. Prescriptions they recommend for a 7-year-old with a severe respiratory infection. Then meet us at—" She turned to Emma. "What's your address?" Emma stuttered it out, confusion and hope warring in her chest. "Here's what's going to happen," Margaret said, her voice firm but kind. "You're going home to your daughter with medicine. Tomorrow, someone from my property management company will contact your landlord about your eviction notice. And Monday morning, you're going to receive a phone call about a job interview at Chen Industries. I can't promise you the position. You'll have to earn that yourself, but I can promise you a fair chance." "I don't understand," Emma whispered. "Why are you doing this?" Margaret's composure cracked slightly, and her voice grew thick with emotion. 40 years ago, I was you. I was a young immigrant mother, sick child, no money, facing eviction. A stranger saw me give my last $5 to help an elderly man buy groceries, and she changed my life. She gave me a job in her small textile business. I worked hard, eventually bought the company, and built what became Chen Industries. Now, one of the largest manufacturing companies in the Northeast. But I never forgot that moment of kindness, how someone saw my character when I had nothing else to offer. She took Emma's hands in hers. That woman made me promise something. She said, "You pay this forward, Margaret. Not to me, but to someone else who needs it. You watch for the people who give when they have nothing left to give, because those are the people with real wealth in their souls." I've been watching for 30 years. Emma, I've helped dozens of people, and every single one proved that character matters more than circumstances. You gave your last $10 to a stranger's child when your own child was suffering. That tells me everything I need to know about who you are. The limousine pulled up to Emma's building, a crumbling walk-up that suddenly looked a little less hopeless. Margaret's assistant, James, was already there, holding a bag from the pharmacy. "This isn't charity," Margaret said firmly as Emma moved to leave. "This is an investment in someone I believe in. The job won't be easy. I don't believe in handouts. But if you work as hard for yourself as you've been working to survive, you're going to do extraordinary things." Emma couldn't speak. She could only nod, tears flowing freely now. "Oh, and Emma?" Margaret added as she opened the door. "That coat looked good on that young boy. But I think you'll find something in your size waiting with the medicine. You can't take care of Sophie if you freeze to death." As the limousine pulled away, Emma stood holding the pharmacy bag and a new winter coat, watching the taillights disappear into the snowy night. Inside the bag was medicine, a note with Margaret's direct phone number, and an envelope containing $500 with a simple message. "For groceries and peace of mind. Merry Christmas. You're not alone anymore." Emma raced upstairs, her two small shoes suddenly feeling lighter. She burst through the door to find Sophie asleep on the couch, her small chest rising and falling with labored breaths as Emma administered the medicine and pulled the new coat over her daughter like a blanket. She thought about the chain of kindness that had led to this moment, how one act of compassion 40 years ago had rippled forward through time to save her family tonight. The $10 she'd given away had cost her everything. But in return, she'd received something far more valuable: hope, opportunity, and the profound truth that kindness is never wasted. It simply travels forward, waiting for the right moment to return as a miracle. Outside, the snow continued to fall on Christmas Eve, covering the city in white, making everything look new again.